And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments, or no. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. Deuteronomy 8, verse 2-3. The 40 years in the wilderness is no mere geography, but the long apprenticeship of your own imagination. God leads you into that desolate place to strip away Esau's trust in sense and circumstance, leaving you hungry for true sustenance. In that hunger, the manna appears, not bread from heaven, but the living word you speak in secret. As you taste it, you discover that man does not live by outward provision, but by every creative word the Lord, your own I Am, speaks through your inner bride. In humility you learn that the outer man, anchored in lack, can never bring your desire to birth. He must serve the younger, the subjective power within, who knows no limitation. It is here, in this cavern of longing, that Christ is formed. Each whispered affirmation, each vivid impression, is the manna that feeds your inner Israel, weaving there a new state of being. With every imagined scene you declare, "It is finished," and the Son of God within you rises, perfect and true. God allows the wilderness of uncertainty so you will turn from bread alone to turn inward to the creative word. If you insist on the evidence of sight and sound, you remain hungry. But trust your unseen word, assume the state you desire, and watch your outer man adjust. Thus the 40 years end, not in age or time, but in the day your inward word becomes flesh in your experience. Then you, the once hidden Israel, rule as God, for you have learned that existence is sustained by imagination, by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the Lord within. Reflect for a moment on how Deuteronomy describes the 40 years in the wilderness, not merely as a historical episode, but as an inner journey in which the mind is stripped of every outer comfort, humbled and made genuinely receptive. From that place of simplicity we move seamlessly into the image of hunger and manna, revealing a profound shift from seeking validation outside ourselves to finding an ever-present nourishment within. In this light, each word from God becomes an imaginal impulse, the seed of thought that blossoms into reality. When we learn to dwell in that wilderness of disciplined humility, we discover that our own imagination provides the true manna to sustain and guide us. As you explore the metaphysical mechanics, picture the wilderness as the blank canvas of your imagination, a space where the outer senses, what some call Esau, grow quiet, and the inner creative faculty, known as Jacob, begins to stir with life. In that stillness, you encounter manna, the seed thought that you eat whenever you dwell on a vision. You taste its subtle flavor within your imagination long before it takes form in the world outside. From there, a natural cycle unfolds. Desire, which reveals an inner sense of lack, gives way to assumption, a mental feast upon the word you have spoken, and finally completes itself in fulfillment as your imagined state materializes in the outer world. By understanding this seamless flow, you learn how intention, imagination, and realization dance together to bring each of your visions into being. This teaching invites you into the realization that your true sustenance is a living thought, the very spark of your consciousness aligned with the divine word. In this awareness, you discover the power to command reality itself simply by holding the mental word as if its fulfillment were already complete. Moreover, whenever you unite your imagination with infinite intelligence, you transcend every seeming limitation of the body and see no barrier before your creative power. And when life presents a moment designed to test your faith, you can transform it into triumph by inwardly rehearsing your desire until its reality feels undeniably present. Begin by carving out a stretch of quiet in your day where sensory distractions can fall away. In that personal wilderness, gently notice any stirrings of hunger or lack and simply acknowledge them without feeding them with worry. Next, call forth a single moment that implies your desire already fulfilled. Hear the words as if spoken to you. Feel the scene unfolding around you, even taste its sweetness, and repeat this vivid exercise until it feels more real than your present circumstances. As night approaches and you settle into sleep, hold that fulfilled scene as your final thought, allowing the imagined word to sink deeply into your consciousness. Then, throughout the day, stay alert for small outer confirmations, those crumbs of manna that reveal your inner feast taking form in the world. By journeying into your own wilderness, nourishing yourself on the manna of vivid imagination, and living in the assumption of your fulfilled desire, you awaken the divine creative power within. In this way, you learn that we do not live by physical bread alone, but by every living word conceived in the mind. For each thought you embrace becomes the very substance of your world.